When reflecting on Michael Jackson's musical legacy, memories likely evoke the peak periods of the disco-themed Off the Wall, pop crossover Thriller, or Bad, the album that dominated the early 90s, and possibly even the R&B tinged Dangerous. Yet, one album that tends to be overlooked or underappreciated is Jackson's unintentional final record, Invincible, which hit shelves in 2001. An artist whose album development was an extravagant and arduous affair, involving the collaboration of 10 record producers and over 100 musicians. Jackson initiated this multi-genre masterpiece back in 1997, but its completion dragged on until a mere 8 weeks prior to its release. Whispers circulated about its eye-watering $30 million recording cost, securing its status as the most expensive album ever crafted at the time of recording this video. Jackson's reluctance to embark on a tour in its support only fueled the simmering tension between him and Sony Music, hinting at deeper conflicts beneath the surface. Leading up to the release of Invincible, Jackson had been silent on the new music front since the remix album Blood on the Dance Floor, which was released in 1997. His previous studio album was History or His Story, which was released in 1995. As a result, Invincible was seen as Jackson's much-anticipated career comeback. During the early 2000s, music, in particular pop music, underwent a transformation, bidding farewell to the larger-than-life musical icons of the previous decade. Instead, a fresh wave emerged, featuring artists such as Usher, the Backstreet Boys, and pop princesses such as Britney Spears and Jessica Simpson. Meanwhile, Michael, who had been diligently crafting his fifth studio album since 1997, faced a novel challenge. No longer the focal point of the music industry, he now grappled with the task of reinventing himself amidst a sea of younger stars, many of whom emulated his style, using him as the blueprint for their own songs. Jackson was eager to explore a new direction, straying from his previous pop efforts and embracing the wave of merging genres together. This trend was seen among other artists who also released albums around this time, including Destiny's Child, Aaliyah, and Justin Timberlake. Michael, who characterized this fresh direction as edgier, garnered recognition for both writing and producing the majority of the tracks featured on Invincible. The album enlisted a host of collaborators to support with both writing and producing the project, including Teddy Riley, Dr. Freeze, Andre Harris, Babyface, R. Kelly, and its standout producer Rodney Jerkins, also known as Darkchild. Whilst Darkchild was not given the title of executive producer, he did have a hand in producing most of the tracks on the album.
I was at my mom and dad's house, and I had a dream. I was literally sleeping on a couch, and I had a dream that I was on my way to the studio, and it was all glass. And I looked, as I drove to the studio, I looked up in the glass, and it was Michael with a red shirt on. And I was going to work with Michael. And I woke up from sleep telling my mom and dad the dream. The phone rings an hour later. And at the time I had maybe like one of the biggest records out was Say My Name with Destiny's Child. And I get a call from Carol Bayer Sager. Okay. And Carol Bayer Sager says, Rodney, I'm a big fan of you and I love this song. And I wondered if you would be interested in writing with me and Michael Jackson. And I'm like, I was just dreaming. I was working with Michael 30 minutes ago, like literally. And she goes, I said, when? I said, when? And she goes, I don't know when yet, but I'm in LA. Where are you? I said, I'm in Jersey, but I'm going to get on a plane and come to LA and I'll just wait until you're ready. And I did. I got on a plane, went to LA, checked myself in the hotel, and I just waited until she called me back. And then she called me and she said, can you come tomorrow to my house? And the next day I was driving to her house, got through the gate, and as I went up that hill, she had this little guest house studio, and I looked and I could see coming through the window Michael with a red shirt on, just like my dream. And I walked in there and I said, I had a dream about this whole experience. And I sat down at the piano and we were just like, he was just singing melodies and I was playing it for, I think he was just wanting to get to know me. And then at the end of it, he said, will you commit yourself to working with me? And I said, absolutely. He goes, you really got to dig deep if you're going to work with me. And I said, I'm with it. He goes, what do you need? And I said, I need my team with me. I need my team out here in LA. He said, okay, I'm going to have my assistant reach out and get you everything you need, the studio you need. He said, we're going to be spending the next year working on my project. And that was it. And next thing you know, I just locked. We just became really good friends. Like me and Michael, we built an incredible, beyond the music, like just a friendship, just a brotherhood. And yeah, and that was it, man.
The sonic direction of the album ventures into a dynamic blend of R&B, pop and soul, imbued with contemporary production elements. It encompasses lush melodies, intricate rhythms and rich instrumentation, creating a multifaceted musical landscape. Jackson's vocals soar over intricate beats and layered arrangements, showcasing his versatility and mastery of various genres. The production seamlessly melded traditional elements with, at the time, modern sonic textures, resulting in a sound that felt both familiar and innovative, creating an interesting juxtaposition. The album maintains continuity with Jackson's previous work by delving into themes of love, romance, isolation, media scrutiny, and societal concerns. The album costed a reported $30 million to make, which make it the most expensive album ever made to date. Threatened, a song from the album emerged as one of the most lavish tracks ever produced, featuring excerpts from Rod Serling's iconic television series, The Twilight Zone. The sample, however, came with a hefty price tag. Additionally, Jerkins found himself fully dedicated to Jackson's vision for a solid 3 years, during which he was at the peak of his demand as a producer. Jackson essentially employed Jerkins on a full-time basis, ensuring his exclusive commitment to the project. This arrangement meant that Jerkins refrained from working with other artists, solidifying his role as Jackson's right-hand man. Despite the immense investment of time and resources, the project faced multiple delays, utilized multiple studios, and spawned a plethora of tracks in the creative process. Karen Fay, Michael's longtime makeup artist and hairstylist, revealed that the original inspiration for the Invincible album cover stemmed from Albert Watson's 1992 photograph, The Golden Boy. Fay mentioned that she meticulously styled Michael's hair and makeup in a style mirroring Watson's iconic image. However, significant alterations by company executives ultimately transformed the initial concept into a distinct artistic vision of its own. You Rock My World made its debut as the lead single from the album in August 2001. The song soared to number 10 on the US Billboard charts, marking Jackson's final top 10 hit in the US during his lifetime. Remarkably, its chart success in the US was solely propelled by airplay, as no commercial single was initially released. Internationally, the track achieved number 1 status in a number of European territories, as well as Romania and South Africa. Furthermore, it secured spots within the top 10 in numerous countries including Australia, Austria, Canada, and the UK. The song is a perfect blend of R&B, pop, and funk, showcasing Jackson's signature sound while incorporating, at the time, contemporary elements. With its disco-tinged grooves, catchy hooks, and polished production, the song embodies the essence of Jackson's musical style he had become known for. Sonically, the track harkens back to Jackson's earlier hits such as Billie Jean and Smooth Criminal, with its funky bass line and rhythmic guitar licks over a pop-inspired beat. The song's energetic tempo and upbeat vibe evoke the danceable rhythms that define Jackson's music throughout his career. While staying true to Jackson's trademark sound, You Rock My World also incorporates modern production techniques such as layered production, giving it a fresh and contemporary feel to Michael's discography. The track seamlessly blended classic elements with a modern sensibility, appealing to both longtime fans and new listeners alike. You Rock My World was not initially intended to be the lead single from the project, instead the song Unbreakable being favoured as the album's debut single. This uncertainty fueled rumours of disagreements between the singer and the record label. However, before the single's official release, You Rock My World was leaked to radio. It echoed the lyrical repetition and groove progression of Jackson's 1992 hit Remember the Time, a pattern also utilised by Jerkins in Brandy and Monica's 1998 track The Boy Is Mine. Additionally, If I Told You That by Whitney Houston, which uses a similar rhythm pattern, was initially planned as a duet between Whitney and Michael, stirred excitement among fans. However, Jackson would go on to withdraw from the collaboration, leaving George Michael to feature on the radio edit version of the song.
Unbreakable was Michael's favorite song.
Yeah.
Off the album. And Threaten. Actually, Unbreakable and Threaten was Michael's favorite song off the album. Rock My World was everybody's favorite song within the realms of the company, everybody, like, from a song perspective, not a track and all of that, but from an actual song, beginning to end song. The plan was, before, things got sticky between him and Sony, the plan was Rock My World, Butterflies, Unbreakable, short film, Threatened, short film, and then Break of Dawn. That was the plan Michael had. I saw he showed it to me. Like that, he had it all mapped out what he was going to do. And then right after Rock My World, even before Rock My World came out, is when the Sony and Michael thing kind of just went from, it just started. It was going like that the whole project, to be honest, but it really, right before the song came out, it really just kind of just became this separation. And of course, it doesn't do any of us no good, because then we don't get to see the genius in its full entirety, right? Because all the stuff that he was telling us that he was going to do, he didn't do. Because it happened. And I was like, he was telling me, I remember him telling me about the short film he was going to do for Unbreakable, and how he was going to have Biggie, like before there was like
a hologram.
Yeah, before that was even happening, he was going to do it.
For the visuals, Michael envisioned a grand concept for the song, a short film directed by Paul Hunter that would encapsulate his entire visual universe. Beyond reflecting on the milestones of his own career, Jackson sought to honor his friend Marlon Brando, whose appearance in the film would mark his final significant on-screen role. Drawing inspiration from Brando's iconic films, On the Waterfront and Guys and Dolls, the short film's backdrops were carefully selected to evoke the essence of these cinematic classics. At its core, the film's narrative would revolve around Jackson's character, alongside Chris Tucker, known for his roles in films like Friday and Rush Hour, vying for the affections of a woman. The video draws comparisons to Michael's iconic music videos from the 1980s, particularly Smooth Criminal, Bad, and The Way You Make Me Feel. In this visually striking piece, Jackson dons his trademark blazer and hat, which is also reminiscent of his signature style from that era. Critically, You Rock My World received mixed reviews. While some praised its infectious groove and catchy hooks, others felt that it lacked the innovation and impact of Jackson's earlier hits. Positive reviews often highlighted the song's irresistible energy and its ability to get listeners on their feet. Critics appreciated its throwback vibe to Jackson's classic sound, with nods to funk and R&B elements. Additionally, Jackson's smooth vocals and charismatic delivery were commended, showcasing his enduring talent as a performer. However, some critics found the single to be somewhat derivative, drawing comparisons to Jackson's previous work without adding much new to the table. Some felt that the song failed to break new ground creatively, especially in comparison to his groundbreaking hits from the 80s. Butterflies was the second and final single released in the US from the project. Described as a soulful and intimate R&B ballad that showcases Michael's tender and emotive vocals. The song features a lush production with gentle instrumentation, including soft guitar strums and subtle percussion, creating a serene and romantic atmosphere. Lyrically, the track explores themes of infatuation and the fluttering feeling of being in love, with Jackson expressing vulnerability and longing in his delivery. The track was produced by Andre Harris as well as Jackson. Marsha Ambrosius, the British singer known for her role in the duo Floetry, crafted the demo for the song. This demo caught the attention of John McClane, who then presented it to Jackson. Impressed by their work, Michael invited the Floetry to the Hit Factory in New York to offer their musical insights during the recording process. With Butterflies, Jackson explored new territory, incorporating neo-soul vocal inflections that were a departure from his usual style. The song introduced a fresh artistic sensibility, characterized by deep vibes and emotional resonance. Its fusion of hip-hop musicality further elevates it as one of the standout tracks on the album. In numerous interviews, Marsha fondly recalls her experiences with Michael, highlighting his remarkable humility and irresistible charisma during their recording sessions. She remembers him as a playful prankster with an infectious laugh, making the atmosphere vibrant and enjoyable. Interestingly, the final rendition of Butterflies remains quite faithful to the original demo. However, subtle adjustments were made to the drum machine balance, resulting in a more cohesive and rhythmic sound.
It's setting in at that point. I'm starting to get jittery thinking about like how, not scared, not nervous, but what's the word? Just excited. I'll give it that. I was excited. And I remember going through the doors. I'm looking around and there's like a glass window off to the side. And Michael Jackson is already in there warming up his vocals. And I'm like, he's right. I was like, that's him, fam. I think he saw me. So we go to look back and Mike just throws up the peace sign. And I don't know how slow it took my hands to kind of do the same. Like, did he just peace sign me? Peace sign back, Mike? Before we knew it, we hear the sliding doors and it's Michael Jackson. And he just comes over and hugs me. And Mike's hands, he's way taller than I anticipated, very lean, athletic, and just embraces me with this hug that in my mind read, "Thank you so much for this song. It's beautiful. I love it. I can't wait to work with you." And before I could even say a word out of my mouth, he said he can't wait to make it worth what I believe it is. I was like, why do you care what I think? At this point, I don't even care, Mike. You could change every word, every melody. We could do something else. I don't even care. But no, Mike wanted me to make that song feel the way he felt when he heard that demo.
Sony Music made the decision to release the track to US radio stations to help with the promotion and marketing of the Invincible project. The song experienced a favourable commercial reception, despite not being released as an official single, and received considerable airplay and digital downloads. The song garnered significant attention and made an impact on the US Billboard chart, peaking at number 14. Due to the song being released as a promotional single, there were no visuals shot for the track. A master mix was also sent to radio, which featured rapper Eve, is a collaborative remix that combines Michael Jackson's soulful vocals with Eve's rap verses. This remix offers a fresh take on the original song, blending elements of R&B and hip-hop to create an exciting fusion of styles. Eve's addition to the track adds a new dimension, injecting a dose of urban flair and lyrical prowess. Her rap verses complement Jackson's smooth vocals, enhancing the song's dynamic and providing contrast to the melodic verses. Released as a promotional or official remix, this version of Butterflies aims to appeal to a broader audience by bridging the gap between R&B and hip-hop genres. It showcases the versatility of both artists and demonstrates their ability to collaborate across different musical styles. Cry was the final single released from the project and was only released in Europe. The track, which was penned by R&B singer-songwriter R. Kelly, known for his collaboration with Jackson on the 1995 hit You Are Not Alone. Produced by Jackson and Kelly, Cry was officially released in December 2001. The single was released with two B-sides, Shout and Streetwalker, both of which were leftover tracks. Shout was a previously unreleased song that was originally intended for Invincible, but was replaced at the last moment by You Are My Life. Streetwalker had previously appeared as a track on the 2001 special edition of Jackson's 7th studio album, Bad. Like Shout, Streetwalker was also replaced last minute by the track called Another Part of Me. Drawing on the spirit of past hits like Man in the Mirror and Keep the Faith, though not quite reaching their level of impact. Inspired by their previous work on history, R. Kelly crafted Cry as a clever synthesis of Jackson's signature themes and melodies, resulting in a poignant and familiar yet innovative composition. In Cry, echoes of solidarity and hope intertwine with the melancholy introspection found in songs like Stranger in Moscow. However, it doesn't claim to match the lofty heights of its predecessors. The song's gradual build-up, characterized by a slow melody that intensifies as it progresses, reaches a climactic finale marked by powerful choral arrangements. Throughout Cry, Jackson's demeanor appears more somber than usual, reflecting a sense of bewilderment and uncertainty about the state of the world. This introspective mood adds depth to the song's emotional resonance. This song is one of 2 tracks from the album that has an accompanying short film, but unlike You Rock My World, Michael doesn't make an appearance. It shares similarities with his other humanitarian songs like Heal the World, which often feature clips of archival footage. However, there were disagreements between Jackson and his label regarding the allocation of funds for the video. As a form of protest, he decided not to appear in the short film, opting instead to have director Nick Brandt shoot it. Brandt understood Jackson's vision and assured him that his absence would amplify the song's message and draw more attention to its lyrics. Jackson agreed, but remained involved in the editing process. The commercial reception to Cry was somewhat mixed, reflecting the challenges faced by Jackson during the release of the Invincible project. Whilst the single received some airplay and attention upon its release, it did not achieve significant chart success compared to Jackson's previous hits. In the US, Cry did not chart on the Billboard Hot 100, which was a departure from Jackson's usual chart performance. This could be due to the fact that the track was not released as an official single, and due to streaming being in its infancy, resulted in poor promotion in the States. However, the song did receive moderate airplay on R&B and adult contemporary radio stations. Internationally, the single performed better in some regions, reaching moderate chart positions in countries such as the UK and Germany. However, it did not achieve the same level of success as some of Jackson's earlier singles. It was intended that Unbreakable would be the 3rd single from the album, with Jackson once again disagreeing with the label on the best choice of single to release. Invincible was Jackson's first studio album since History, which was released 6 years earlier. Invincible debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200. It was also Jackson's 5th Billboard 200 number 1 and his 4th solo album to chart at number 1 in its first week. Invincible reached number 1 in 13 countries worldwide, including the UK, Australia and parts of Europe. The album would eventually go on to be certified platinum in a number of countries, including the US, UK, Japan, South Africa and parts of Europe, with the last count selling 8 million copies worldwide.
Chaos in the streets of New York. It's been a tough, really last 7 or 8 weeks for the people of New York City. Today, just getting an incredible thrill. The king of pop, Michael Jackson, being so kind and coming to Times Square to say hi, and we are just absolutely honored and thrilled, and myself personally, to be here with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have to ask you, how does it feel to have the number 1 album in every country worldwide again?
It's a great honor. I'm very happy about it. We worked very hard on it, and I'm blessed that the fans accepted it the way they did, and I'm very honored. I really am. I don't take anything for granted. Every time there's a number 1 album or song, I feel excited as if it's the first one.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy about that.
Well, congratulations. The record is indeed amazing.
During the recording process, a number of tracks were submitted to Jackson for the Invincible project. Most notably are most of the tracks that ultimately found a place on Justin Timberlake's debut album Justified, including Rock Your Body, Last Night and Like I Love You. It was known that the Neptunes were a big fan of the singer and submitted a large number of tracks and demos to Michael for consideration, but ultimately Jackson would turn them all down. Due to Michael's passing a few years later, the singer and the Neptunes would not get the opportunity to officially collaborate on a track together. Invincible served unintentionally as the singer's swan song to his career. Michael faced challenges upon its release, but it wouldn't be accurate to categorize it as a complete flop. While it didn't replicate the unprecedented commercial success of his earlier albums like Thriller or Bad, the Invincible album still achieved moderate commercial success and received mixed reviews from critics. In terms of sales, Invincible debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200 chart, indicating a strong initial response from fans. However, its sales declined in the following weeks, and it didn't sustain the same level of success as some of Jackson's previous albums. The album also released at the start of changing musical trends, where traditional pop music was taking a back seat to more R&B and hip-hop influenced styles, resulting in a shift in the musical industry landscape. While the album faced challenges with marketing and promotion, it still produced notable hits such as You Rock My World and Butterflies, and showcased Jackson's enduring talent as a performer and songwriter. Overall, while it may not have matched the astronomical success of his earlier albums, Invincible encapsulates an icon's enduring musical legacy, showcasing his unparalleled artistry and sonic innovation.